Hi there, I'm Dr. Chung and welcome to your friendly proctologist. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know you have a lot of things going on, but on this channel I want to give you real and helpful information because it's not about just clickbaiting you in here. You need answers and help, and I want to provide that to you. Please like and subscribe to the video and my channel, please. I would love to reach more people in the world who are struggling through the same things as you are. All right, so today's video, it's a little bit different, as you can tell from the title. And it's a moment of vulnerability for me, but I had intended on sharing this story with you because I just feel like, when your doctor tells you about a condition you have that you just discovered, right? It feels like that you're the only one who struggles with it and the doctor just seems like a big teacher or something like that, someone who's not quite on your level. And that degree of separation there is, it's something that kind of can get in the way, of really truly reaching your patient to the inner core, making that human connection, developing that relationship between the physician and the patient. And, and sometimes I'll bet you guys, and the same with me, if you're going to have a surgery and they're just talking nonchalantly, they're just flippantly saying, oh, you're going to have pain, but how bad is it going to be? Oh, it won't be that bad. You'll probably go back to work in a few days, and don't worry about your pain's going to be well controlled. But when you're hearing that, you're just saying, I wish that you could go through the recovery first, and then you tell me how it went. Don't just tell me about what you read in a book. I want to hear what it's really like. And if you haven't been through it, then kind of like don't even talk to me about it. Anyway, okay. So, like the title says, I got my hemorrhoids banded. Okay. Moment of vulnerability again. Okay. And so let's begin the story, okay? And I just want to give a shout out to my wife. She's also a surgeon, a really brilliant and smart surgeon, and I couldn't have asked for a much better doctor for me. She's a fantastic surgeon, loves her patients, and she's been an example for me. And so, love you, honey. Thank you so much. Let's put that out there first. So, I've got some notes here because I don't want to miss a thing. The anoscopy, let's start there because that's how you first examine to see what hemorrhoids need treatment or if banding is an appropriate treatment. And thankfully I have the experience, I have the knowledge. I knew that something was starting to develop and it's time to take a look. So the anoscopy was my first time ever, and let me tell you, it feels nothing like, just because I've done a bunch of them does not mean I know what it feels like. It's not the same thing at all, right? As the scope is going in, it's not like the finger exam because this thing is about 3 times the size of a finger, and this thing gradually gets wider and bigger as it goes in. Okay, so I felt my muscles trying to accommodate to this thing, trying to get used to things as she's going in slowly, but my muscles are squeezing. They're like latching onto the scope because they're struggling to relax. It's like, what the heck is this thing? Get this thing out of here is what your anus is saying, right? And so once she got it in, that part was, it was okay. I kept trying to get my relaxation techniques, my breathing techniques, trying to relax. But to me, it felt like I was not relaxed. But my wife was saying that, it's going in easily. It's it's going in right. It's all good. And that was interesting because I thought that I had a pretty good perception of knowing how relaxed my muscles were. But that time, it seemed kind of the opposite. All right. As she's planning to come out to take a look, you have to remove that inner portion, right? Which allows you to actually look inside the scope. And interesting sensation here is that once you pull out that middle portion, I felt instantly cold in my bottom end. You know, the sudden rush of cold air from the room, I could feel that. It felt like someone put ice cubes right in my bottom end, okay? And I was like, wow, that's crazy. You know, we take temperatures on babies in the bottom end, and we know it's a very warm place compared to your armpits or your mouth. And it's just like, wow, that was crazy. Because I knew right when that happened, like my muscles must have grabbed that scope hard because it just didn't like that one bit. As the scope is coming out, it's getting closer to the anal muscles. I can definitely feel my muscles wanting to clench that scope and get it out of there. But we could see that there were grade 2 hemorrhoids in there. Okay, I had three of them. One of them we selected to be the biggest one, and then we wanted to grab that one first. Thankfully, I didn't wait too long to get this banding done because it was in a very appropriate size to get banding done, okay? Because definitely I don't want to do a procedure on myself or have my wife do something for me that is going to cause problems, right? Okay. So she's got the banding equipment ready, and I'm gearing up. I'm really nervous, because it's got risks. I do these with patients, for patients, and I'm very, very aware of what could go wrong. And so, it's not a procedure. It's a serious procedure. So, she's got everything set up with this scope and everything, and when she puts this hemorrhoid instrument, the rubber band instrument, on the hemorrhoid itself, it's a suction type of mechanism here. So if this is the mouth of the hemorrhoid bander, and this is the hemorrhoid, it sucks it up into its mouth. And you want as much of the hemorrhoid sucked in there as possible so that the rubber band can stay on, right? That way, if you got the lining of your anus here, you've got this big hemorrhoid that's sucked up above, you can land the rubber band right at the bottom of it and have this huge, huge hemorrhoid. That way the rubber band isn't able to just slide off and pop off, right? And so once she put the suction on, I could feel that again. There's a soreness sensation, and it kind of was a little bit persistent, and it kind of grew a little bit as the suction got stronger and stronger. When it was time to deploy the rubber band, I could hear the snap of the rubber band. It's like pop, right? And I was like, oh my God, I felt that. You can actually feel like something sudden happening to your bottom end. And right at that instant, I was so scared that I was gonna feel pain, like it was in the wrong location, okay? Because these are only meant to be for internal hemorrhoids, but I just panicked for a second. I thought, oh my gosh, like I felt that. Is that right or is that wrong? Are we doing this right or what's going on? But as I waited for 1 to 2 seconds, the pain there was no pain, okay? And so then I instantly knew, yes, okay, we're doing it in the right place. Everything is still A-okay. Then she pulled the rubber band instrument off, and she said there's this huge mushroom of a hemorrhoid that's above the rubber band. She said it was huge. She's like, oh, it's a big one. It's a good one. And I was like, thank you so much, honey. You're the best. And so, of course, I was really thrilled to hear that because that's exactly what I'm looking for. And, that's something that I would predict is going to really benefit the patient, okay? So what happened after that, okay? I get off the table. For the first 5-10 minutes, I don't really feel anything at all. It feels normal. I'm walking around, I'm like, I know it didn't pop off yet, but that's crazy. I don't feel anything. But after 10 minutes, then the soreness and fullness started to take place. It was very soft curve upwards, and it landed at about 2 to 3, maybe about 3 out of 10 soreness. It was not sharp pain at all. There was no bleeding for me, but sometimes you can have that. And about 30 minutes in, it got to its maximum, 3 to, somewhere around there. And it was crazy because the sensation of wanting to poop, like I always tell my patients, came about. And I could feel at the same time my anus was closing as well. The anus muscles were working to just shut for business. And, I think that was a very difficult time because I wasn't sure if the rubber band was gonna pop off. That's one thing I didn't want to happen, right? And so I found myself just unconsciously, like instinctively, trying to be careful as I move around. So I was like walking around, like getting off a horse. I was like kind of straddling along, and it was the craziest thing because I know it in my head, book-wise, I should be able to just walk around and be normal, and then poop whenever I feel like I gotta poop. But it wasn't that easy to figure out, and I was being so careful. I just didn't want to disturb anything. I thought that was super interesting that I acted that way, despite what I know. All right, so that night I was able to sleep fine, but the pain level and the soreness level stayed at a 3. The next morning, it kind of decreased in half, 1.5 to 2. I had a bowel movement that morning, and I was so slow with it. I mean, I was really gentle. I barely did any like that initial pushing to get things going, barely at all. And it went fine. I was still really anxious about the rubber band popping off, but there was no blood, and I didn't see any signs of a hemorrhoid band. So it's like, well, I guess we'll have to look in the long term, right? Passing gas for the first time was also interesting too. That first night, I struggled to fart because you're not sure what it is. You feel some pressure building, but is it a poop? Is it a fart? Or is it just the hemorrhoid that I feel? And so I have to actually like lift up my butt cheek, like kind of peel it up a little bit and see like, okay, let's try. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? And then I get a little soft like of air. You know what I'm talking about? And so that felt completely safe to me, and that went okay as well. But I did notice I was kind of feeling more bloated the first 1 or 2 days because I was holding in my farts. Nothing was coming out. Usually I fart a bit more often, but I was definitely understanding why people feel bloated. Then came day number 3, because by day number 2, the pain was completely gone, and I felt pretty much fine. I didn't notice it at all. I forgot about it. Day 3 comes, morning poop, and then when I wipe, I was so surprised that there was a ton of blood on the tissue paper. I mean, I wiped twice, and the second one had just as much blood. It was like a bomb went off, like, and that's what I think happened, is that mushroom of hemorrhoid finally burst. It finally died. And so that's where all that blood came from, because after that day, I didn't have any more blood. And so to this day, that was 3 weeks ago now, my experience, and I feel great. I definitely don't feel the hemorrhoid anymore. Like the obscure kind of like something moving around in my bottom end. I don't feel that anymore. And so I feel like my wife did an excellent job. Thanks again, honey. And my experience was great. And I just hope this experience helped you to kind of get a grasp of a doctor's experience. I'm not just here telling you, spitting out what I know in a textbook or from my experience, but I also know what it's like to go through it. And so if you have any questions about my recovery or my experience, definitely ask questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.